Speaking of the right-wing civil war, we have the old fogies are getting more directly involved. This is fun. The old fogies are getting involved, and it's funny how they think they're still relevant enough to like comment on this and have it matter. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. Bill O'Reilly's doing his show from a graveyard. I know he likes to think otherwise, but he's wrong. He's doing it. He was bragging about the ratings on News Nation the other day. Like, are you kidding me, bro? He said 23 million people watched. No, they fucking didn't. No, they didn't. Do you even believe that? Or is it like a Trumpian lie? I don't know. But anyway, so Bill O'Reilly decided, I'm going to take a shot directly at Nick Fuentes. We'll watch this, and then after that, I'm going to get to the Glenn Beck does the same thing. Another old fart decides I'm going after Fuentes. So let's take a look.
All right, so Fuentes goes on there, and he says this stuff about organized jewelry, and I'm going, what are you talking about? All right, he doesn't define it. Now, earlier, a few years ago, he did define how he believes, and it's scary. Roll that tape.
Let's just get the Hitler thing out of the way. Do you actually admire Adolf Hitler?
In some ways, yes.
By the way, I think O'Reilly took this from my show. I think O'Reilly took this clip from my show because I was like one of the only outlets that covered it. I watched the whole debate between Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes, and then I covered a whole bunch of the crazy parts. And this was, of course, the biggest one that stuck out, is Alex Jones asked him, do you admire Hitler? And he goes, in some ways, yes. And I remember thinking, holy shit, you can't just say that. That's insane. That is insane to say. Because then you can't go on later, oh, I was just trolling, I was just joking, I was just memeing. The fuck you were. We all heard it. Right? So I think that he just did a YouTube search for it, and my video popped up, and he ran with it. I honestly think that's what happened.
And I'm not a national socialist, and I'm not I wouldn't identify that way because I'm a Christian. So I'm not any kind of a socialist or a fascist. A
lot of the Nazis were Christian too. They wore belts that said Gott mit uns, which means God is with us. I mean, this isn't. I mean, I'm sure he knows this. Well, I don't know why he'd make that point, because I'm sure he knows that many of them were Christian.
So I'm not any kind of a socialist or a fascist. I believe we should have a Christian government. It's a Christian country. God runs the world. We should have a government in accordance with that. But honestly, I don't share this histrionic Jewish view that Hitler is this exceptionally boogeyman, evil figure.
Now, that is really frightening. Now, I don't care what Nick Fuentes says. I don't care. He doesn't know anything. He's dumb. If he reads my book, Confronting Evil, which is 100% fact-based, you'll see what Hitler and the Third Reich did to Jews. Now, there's no...
I like the notion that nobody knows what Hitler did to Jews until you read his book, until you read Bill O'Reilly's book, which is 100% fact-based, 100%. What do you call it? Confronting Evil? That's hilarious. I like where he's like, I don't care what he says. Really? Then why are you doing a segment on, he's dumb. He's dumb. Okay, Bill.
Third Reich did to Jews. Now, there's no two sides to that story. There's one story. It's documented. If you want to think it isn't, that's your neurosis. But believe me, when you go out and peddle this stuff, that Hitler is not an evil figure, I mean, that's just off the chart. That's the kind of stuff that disqualifies you from the court of public opinion. So I'm not going to book anybody that on my program, even though I can debate them into pudding in about 2 minutes. Why bother? Why give them a forum? They haven't earned it. This is stupid. You can say and make up anything you want.
The crazy part is they're all struggling with the monster that they created. Yes, this is also the fault of Bill O'Reilly. In fact, when Nick Fuentes responded to this, and he basically said, like, bro, I was raised on The Factor. I watched The fucking Factor. And yes, he just took all of the arguments that these people make and he pushed it to its logical conclusion. That's all Fuentes did. That's all he did. So all the fucking segments, Bill O'Reilly is very well known, massively anti-immigrant, so he's anti-Hispanic, anti-black, anti-gay, anti-LGBTQ, anti-Muslim. You're anti all the things, but Bill O'Reilly wants you, no, but don't be anti-Jew. And again, all Fuentes did was he said, I agree with all the bigotries that you already have, except I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add Jews to it. And now they're trying to police the lines and go, no, you can't do that. And he's like, why can't I do that? Like, this is what conservatism has to reckon with, is that your beliefs taken to their logical conclusion, yes, this is where it ends up. Now, on the flip side, on the left, our beliefs taken to its logical conclusion would lead to universal health care and free college and a living wage and ending the wars and everybody being treated equally under the law. So that's why we don't have this issue. You guys are the ones that are dealing with a rise of fucking Nazism. And I love the idea, like, it's almost like he thinks this is fringe, or he's pretending like it's fringe. But I got news for you. It's really not anymore. It's really not. There's a real problem that you guys have to reckon with. It is. All right, so now let's go to Glenn Beck. By the way, the other day on the Kyle and Corn podcast on the Corn's World YouTube channel, which you should come check out every Monday night, somebody gave me the worst fucking non-compliment I've ever had in my life. And they said that you look like 2006 Glenn Beck. And I said, holy fucking shit. That is the worst thing anybody's ever said to me, I think. And I went and looked up a picture and I was like, wow, you think I look like that? If I look like that, I got real problems, bro. Like that is, well, you want to talk about a blow to the old pride. That pride is fucking reeling. But anyway, now Glenn Beck has morphed into Colonel Sanders. So we'll have to keep an eye on if I ever end up looking like Colonel Sanders. But listen to what he says on Batya Unger Sargon's show. She's like the MAGA lefty. She pretends like, oh, I'm left wing on everything, but that's why I love Trump. The dumbest grift in the country. But anyway, here we go.
Speaking of civil wars, there's also a mini one happening right now over Nick Fuentes, whether he should be...
It's not a mini one. It's actually a massive one.
...be debated with or not, whether his ideas should be given a hearing or not. You have people saying, basically, our enemy, if you're on the right, your enemy is the left. I don't have any enemies on my right. We need to fight the bad guys on the left.
That's what Matt Walsh is saying, because he works for Ben Shapiro. And so, of course, he's going to try to split the difference.
And then you have other people saying, actually, no, it's extremely important to police the kooks from our side, people like Fuentes, who's an avowed white nationalist. It's extremely important to insist that we can be American nationalists who are not white nationalists to protect that multiracial coalition that President Trump built, and to say not.
That shit is gone already, bro. That shit is gone already. I called it. Again, I know I'm patting myself on the back a little too hard on this point, but I remember being on Josh Cittarella's podcast, and he asked me about Trump making inroads with all these groups. And I said, that shit is not going to last. And literally this last election, we learned it definitely didn't last. If anything, it got worse. Like Democrats ended up with more votes in those categories than they did before Trump.
Where do you fall in terms of those two camps?
Well, I don't think he's worth anybody's time, quite honestly, because I don't think he actually believes anything. I think he's from this new culture that says the most outrageous things for attention, and I'm not going to give him any attention.
Bro, that's what you did. Okay, guys, this is crazy. Glenn Beck was notorious for exactly what he just described. He had this big-ass chalkboard, and he would fucking draw these conspiracies and connect dots, and he would be like, Obama is a Muslim Marxist Kenyan who's going to try to put us all in Agenda 21 FEMA camps and take away cars and ban our automobiles. And, like, this is you, bro. This is you. It's you. You did that. And he's saying this about Nick. Like, by the way, is there an element to Nick that's performative and theatrical? Of course there is. But does he believe the Nazism at the core of what he's saying? Probably. Probably. And he's trying to poo-poo it like, this is whatever. Is it? Is it? When 30 to 40% of young staffers on Capitol Hill admit that they fucking watch him and follow him? Is it? No, again, they're refusing to reckon with the monster that they built. You built this, Glenn Beck. You built this, Bill O'Reilly. You built this, fucking Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. Fucking Nick Fuentes said that Mark Levin helped radicalize him. And now he just takes it to its logical conclusion, and you guys don't know what to do with that.
From this new culture that says the most outrageous things for attention, and I'm not going to give him any attention. I am very clear on anti-Semitism. I am very clear on...
He's a pro-Israel simp, Glenn Beck is. He's one of these... I think he's Mormon, but he's also somehow like one of these end times Christians. Like he believes in biblical prophecy, sort of like Mike Huckabee. Like, oh my God, Jesus is going to come back in the rapture and fucking kill all the Jews and the rest of us are going to go to heaven. So, I mean, this guy, he's got problems. This guy's got problems.
Who and what we should stand for. I am very clear on fascism, communism, authoritarianism, and the U.S. Constitution. So I don't think he's worth debating because there's no logic behind any of that.
It's really weird that every single person involved in this, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, literally all of them have come out and said he's not worth debating. Now, look, from my perspective as a leftist, I've said, yeah, I mean, just like I wouldn't want to debate whether or not climate change is real because you're doing a disservice by pretending that it might not be real. In the same way, I don't want to debate fucking flat earth because I don't want to make it look like it's a 50-50 proposition. I also don't want to debate Nazism in that way because, yes, it should be outside the realm of reasonable conversation. So from our perspective, it makes sense for people on the left to go, you know what? No, not interested. But for the people on the right who created this monster by being Nazi light for all those years, yeah, maybe you guys should fucking deal with that. You guys should handle that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think any of them will come out on top. And so that's why they're not doing it.
It's rage, et cetera, and I think it's performance art. However, know that exists, and that will affect people. So now let's look and take another step back from that. Okay, so people hear that and take it seriously. It's our job to understand why are they susceptible to that?
Because you guys fucking primed them for it. You made bigotry cool for every group except Jews, and they said, let's just add Jews to the list.
How is it that anyone with any sense of logic and decency can fall for that? They've been disenfranchised by something. What is that? I think we saw the beginning of this with why Mamdani won. And
the streak continues of old white people not knowing how to say Mamdani.
Why the election didn't go. I mean, they never go the Republicans' way or the Democrats' way, whoever the incumbent is. But what was the problem? Why didn't we connect? Because we were still talking about cultural things. And right now, people are afraid for their job. They're afraid they can't make ends meet. Young people, if you grew up and you...
Which, by the way, again, that's your fault, too. You're a total free market asshole. You're one of these people who doesn't want Medicare for all and free college and a living wage and unions. And so you advocate for a worldview that brought about this economic insecurity.
Don't remember 9/11. So you don't remember a world with the airport where you can just walk up to the plane. You don't know. You don't remember, a time without the Patriot Act. You don't remember a time where the banks weren't getting bailed out by the federal government while your mom and dad are losing their job, or COVID, where your family lost their job, lost everything, and yet Home Depot can be open. But if I owned a true hardware store, I couldn't stay open somehow or another. They were immune, but I wasn't. If that's your framework, and you have grown up in a society where they've said to you as a young man, you're bad, you're the problem, you're racist, you shouldn't even be treated equally, you should be slighted because of your heritage, communism is neat, socialism is neat, and America is bad. If that's the stew you grew up in, that's why you listen to somebody like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, then why not become a Nazi? That's insane. If you feel like the world is biased against you, start goose-stepping, start zig-heiling, maybe shove some people in gas chambers while you're at it. What is this? What is this? It's like a mix of being totally dismissive of Nick, but then also totally sympathetic to the people who follow him. Bro, they don't know what they're doing. Like, none of these people know what they're doing, and none of them know what they created. And this shit ain't going away. Somebody pointed out, I think it's totally true, that the reaction from MAGA to the Groypers reminds everybody of the reaction of the establishment Republicans in 2015 to MAGA, right? It was like dismissive, swatted aside, we won't debate it, let's move on. And it just keeps getting festering and getting bigger and bigger. That's where it's at. So, the old fogies are trying their best here, but man, it's so clear that Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly, they do their shows out of a senior living center. It is so obvious. They are just out of their depth in trying to deal with this problem that they helped create. And so they'll talk about it again at some point because it is inescapable. The future is not Bill O'Reillyism or Glenn Beckism or even fucking standard MAGA. Oh no, it's about to get a lot darker, a lot quicker. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.